This is PracA 1.3. We're going to look at numbers 23 and 24. They tell you the endpoints of two segments are given. Find each segment length. Tell whether the segments are congruent. So you got two things going on. First thing you're going to do is find out how long these segments are. Segment from this point to this point. Find out how long this segment is from this point to this point. And then once you have those lengths, you can compare them. Would these two segments be congruent? Well, we know congruent means same length. So if these numbers end up being equal for their lengths, then you're going to say yes, they're congruent. So for this segment JK, our x values are 1 and 0, and our y values are 1 and 5. I'll kind of mark them like that. Okay, now I'm just going to type this into the calculator like this. I need to subtract my x's, and it's up to me what order I put them in. Maybe I'll put the 0 first. 0 minus 1. I'm going to square that. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the y values, and I better start with the 5 first because the 5 came from the same ordered pair that 0 came from. 5 minus 1. How long is this segment? Okay, now this gives you a decimal. So I'm going to round it, and that's not exact. Okay, so I'm not a huge fan of that. But I guess we'll just write it down as 4.12 right now. J to K, 4.12. Now you got to do the same thing with segment LM. Here are your x values. Here are your y values. Let's type those in. Same formula now. This is your distance formula. Subtract your x's. I'll do -3 minus 1. Now I'll subtract your y's in the same order. 2 minus 1. Now I didn't like the whole rounding thing earlier because that wasn't an exact answer. But if I'm just comparing the two, I think you can look at these and say, yeah, these are exactly the same. Now again, I don't know what comes after over here, but I think we're safe to say that these are exactly the same. We could probably say they're congruent. Okay, now how would you write that? Well, I'll come over here and say segment JK, segment LM are congruent. Remember that little sign in the middle there. Okay, 24, we'll do that one as well. Here's your x's, here's your y's. Let's plug it in. Now, I'll type it in the other way where I use this x first. Okay, so I'm going to do 4 minus, whoops. Make sure you put parentheses here, that's really important. 4 minus -1, square that. Add it to the y values subtracted in the same order. Would be 3 minus 6. $5.83. How far is it from R to S? I'll mark the x's and mark the y's. Totally up to you what order you do it in, whatever x you put first. But whatever x you put first, make sure you put that same y first. So I'll do 2 minus -2. I'll square it. Then I'm going to add that to, put my -3 first, minus 0. Okay, now I'm wondering if it's the same answer. Clearly it's not. 5 is a little bit smaller than 5.83. Now, how do you say that these are not congruent? Well, that's segment PQ. That's segment RS. This is how you would say they are congruent. These ones aren't, so put a slash through it.